Okay, that's enough. Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns and welcome to the Windbreaker Randomizer Tournament Season 3. Welcome to the Grand Finals and welcome to game number 2. Gymnast had one game up, that's his winner bracket advantage. But that's all he got, because game 2, or game 1 if you want, went to Jarhead. So we're back to even. It's open square. Whoever takes the next 2 matches, or takes 2 matches, will take the entire cup. We'll take fame and glory, and we'll find out who is gonna be together. Oh, wait, that was me, my bad. Together with the comms, with original Elijah, and if she can figure it out, she did figure it out with Melon, AU2.
Hello.
So yeah, we did start a little early into the stream, basically, just because we wanted to talk about a little about how the 2 runners got here. Because like last game, it was like a little, yeah, let's say we started a little late. So as you all knew, Jim came from the winners bracket. He didn't drop a single game until the winners bracket. No, it's not true. He dropped quite a few games actually. Jared didn't drop any games. Until the winners bracket final, where Jim won 2-1. And on his way there, Jared actually beat Meteor Freak, Lollycry, Gobbity Bobbity, and Frostbite, so 3 real big names. And then got dropped to the losers bracket by Jim in the winners bracket final. And on the other hand, Jim actually went against the Ethernet Boys versus Linkus, dropped down Linkus with a 2-0, versus Neve and versus Dean Machine 42. So he had some really hard enemies too, and now he's in a grand final. While Jared had to fight his way through the losers bracket and had to fight Win's Requiem there, but managed to beat him 2-0. So this is now even grounds. And that's all I'm gonna say. The rest goes to Melon and to original Elijah. Melon, you might want to up your voice activation level a little, like your input sensitivity, because like there's some static noise coming through.
Okay, let me check that out real quick.
Yeah, so it has, like Trey said, it's been a long road to get here. Lots of really good runners coming and going, as they say. But yeah, here we are, and it all comes down to this.
Is my mic a little bit better now?
There's a little bit of static, but that's fine. Not entirely sure what it is, but we're starting, by the way.
Alright, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, alright. We're just gonna go with that then.
Alright, so as we often see here, the first thing that it looks like both of our runners are doing is heading over to an island called Diamond Step. Normally you have to have the hook shot to get up here, but there's this fun little trick that we're going to do where we hop into the middle of I like to call it a swirling vortex of terror, but I don't think that's what it's actually called. And the game doesn't know what to do with you, so it just says, we'll put you up on top of the island. Pretty cool. And there you can see Jarhead making it in.
Gymnast not getting it on his first try, but if yesterday has anything to show, Jim will get it on the second try.
Yeah. Not the easiest, because as a good friend of mine, Tubaman, likes to say, usually you try to line up with those seagulls, but as the Tubaman quote goes, the seagulls can sometimes lie. And because you have to hit right in the center, or not right in the center, but you have to hit pretty close to the center for it to do the thing, as they say. And so we were going to see Jarhead grab a stick and open up this pot, but we're not going to go through it. We're just going to hop up on top of it and get up on the railing here and skip a whole bunch of jumping through warp pots.
Yeah, we don't like to actually do the puzzles in this community.
Exactly. We prefer to, as the saying goes, right, the fastest way to get between 2 points is a straight line. So we tried to make sure we take as straight of lines as possible. And the warp pots, they just go all over the place. it's a bunch of lines and yeah, all ziggity zaggity. And our first item we're getting, or that we're seeing here, is a Tingle statue. We don't need those.
And the Master Sword from the second chest in DRC.
Yes, very nice find there. We get double damage pretty much through the entire seed. That's going to speed a lot of things up. Combat mostly. And so now we're going to see Jarhead head over to the Forest Haven to go check a couple more quick checks.
Yep, and it looks like dungeon-wise we don't have Earth Temple or Forbidden Woods.
Ooh, interesting. So that means we get to see everybody's favorite dungeon, Tower of the Gods. That was a joke.
If the sarcasm wasn't obvious already.
Yeah. Yes. For those of you that don't know, the main reason why a lot of our runners do not like Tower of the Gods is because it is riddled and riddled and riddled with these beautiful things called cutscenes. And cutscenes are slow. And there's not really any way to skip any of those. As
Yeah,
unfortunate
and
as that is.
Tachi is a very linear dungeon. Not a lot that you can do besides go the intended way.
Yeah. Yep, a lot of carrying statues around. Well, I suppose we'll get to that here eventually.
Yep. So we're not going to be able to see what Jarhead got in this first chest, or what he's going to get in the second chest until he checks.
Looks like Dean's Pearl,
Yep.
which is a required item in this seed. We need that to get into Tower of the Gods.
Gonna open the second chest here with storage. Won't
Yep,
know what
and
that is for a little bit.
And we're going to have to all just wait patiently and hopefully not let our anxiety get the best of us while we try to figure out what what was in that chest. And so normally, for the island that Jarhead is at now, it's called Bird's Peak. What you would normally have to do is fly a seagull with one of the pairs, let you take control of the seagull, and you'd fly it up, and there's a bunch of switches that you can hit. And it's going to open that metal gate there. But if you have the chest storage, then you can just kind of walk through the wall. So, you know, because good game design. But, you know, it's like we think here, it's the mistakes of the developer make more fun for us to have, so that's always fun. Always a positive way to think about it. Jarhead finding...
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're fine. Basically, When Gods Aria is the least useful of all the songs.
Yep, I don't think we'll see it get much use in this seed.
Yeah.
Or
Nice.
in this tournament.
Yeah. Nice thing is, it's it can, you know, when you're thinking about it from the standpoint of that, you're getting a lot of junk items anyway. As far as that one being one to find, it's not the worst because it can save you a little bit of time in Wind Temple as opposed to doing the skip for the first Songstone, but not something that any of our runners are going to go out of their way to look for if they have everything else they need.
So Jarhead is stopping to save at Windfall really quick, but he's going to go up to Northern Ferry to get that check first.
Yeah, basically a good call because there's not really any faster way to get up to Northern Ferry. It's kind of out on its own. There's no other islands or anything really near it, so might as well go there before Windfall just in case it has something in it that's going to help you out while you're on Windfall. Save you an extra trip there. And you see, kind of like Melon mentioned, they're both runners saving because if you don't get anything good from Northern Ferry, you can just reset the console and it'll take you right back to Windfall. You don't have to warp back. It saves a little bit of time. It also feels kind of cool. And it's Earth God's lyric, which is...
absolutely unnecessary.
Yep, we are not even going to be going into Earth Temple in this seed, so...
Yep, so Jarhead did just a soft reset there and ended up back on Windfall. And he's gonna do the normal Windfall route.
Yep, unfortunately, no extra Windfall items for us in the early game, so just get to do the basic checks here. Hide and seek, getting free gifts from some people. That's basically it, I think. Well, we gotta rescue somebody from jail. So that's nice. And play a song for somebody. Also nice. So we're going to go up to what's called the House of Wealth, and we're going to talk to our good friend Maggie, who you definitely don't want to forget to talk to, because sometimes she likes to have nice things. In the vanilla game, she gives you a letter to mail, but for us, she's going to give us 50 rupees today. So, thanks, Maggie. Seeing Gymnast following close behind here. Not a whole lot to describe at this point, really. Where both runners are going to be doing a lot of the same stuff early on.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of runners taking different routes when they do their Windfall checks.
Right. It's usually after that when we see potentially some divergence.
Yeah. It really depends on what items we're going to get from Windfall, on where these players are going to go.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't really have much to go with. We only have that Master Sword, and that doesn't really open up anything.
It's true. It's true. The one thing I always found funny is, like, we just kind of, like, help Tingle, like, get out of jail. Like, we don't even know... I mean, do they ever tell us why he's in there? Like...
I think what happened, because you find the Picto box behind the jail cell, and Lenzo does say something about his Picto box getting stolen. So I think it has to do with something like that.
That would make sense.
I'm not positive.
Yeah, that is interesting, because it's kind of like, I guess unless you talk to Lenzo first, you wouldn't know. So, I mean, for all we know, we could be letting, like, a murderer out of jail or something, like...
It is true. Tingle is a very sketchy looking dude.
Exactly. I mean, did you see the mustache? So the Tingle statues are made out of stolen gold, too. See, this is just a bad dude. And we've released him back into the world now. Treasure charts, nice. Honestly, as far as bad things to get go, treasure charts in these settings are one of the ones you really don't want. At least with, like, heart pieces and stuff, you can get extra health.
Yeah, treasure charts can't really lead to much other than things we don't want. So.
Right. Like heart pieces and rupees, which, in all honesty, for this, with the tournament settings that we use, you only really need about anywhere from 50 to 60 rupees, depending.
Yeah, definitely not a lot.
Yeah. Depending on if you need to mail the letters, and as long as you mail them from a decent spot, they're only like 5 rupees to mail each letter, but if you're mailing them from further away, it can be more. And then you need 45 to do the Zunari side quest. Synchronized treasure chart, nice. Even though that's a different one, but they did it at the same time, so I'm counting it. Yeah, it does kind of make sense that Tingle's kind of a thief because he does charge you like insane amounts of money to decrypt those charts.
That he does.
It makes my real life wallet actually physically hurt. So now we're going to see Jarhead finish up Windfall, and he's going to head over to Paw Print.
Yep, he's got the power bracelets, so that's going to help out a little bit. So he'll be able to get 3 of these checks.
Yep, 3 checks in the island, and our buddies, the Salvage Corps, have a gift for us, and they're usually hanging out around here. I say usually, but I guess always. And Gymnast finishing up, catching the kids. Ooh, bombs from Salvage Corps. That's going
to be useful.
Yes, bombs are, for those of you that don't know, bombs are my favorite thing to find. Late bombs makes me want to cry.
Yeah, they won't have to double dip dungeons for those tingle chests.
Yes, and that is always nice, because when you're going through the other dungeons and you're missing like that one sword or the light arrows and those tingle chests are taunting you that you couldn't get because you still don't have bombs, oh man, it's just, it really gets the old anxiety going. Ooh, Maggie's letter.
That's 2 letters so far.
Yes. 2/3 of the way to the fabled letter percent. Ooh, the Cabana deed.
Wow.
So Paw Print has got a lot of our delivery bag.
Yeah, we just need to find that delivery bag.
Yeah,
so
man, what if it was here? Could you imagine?
How we locked behind the grapple.
Yeah. And a heart piece. So, a couple of potentially useful items from Paw Print. Nothing too crazy. But
we have,
those...
we have hookshot bombs and the Master Sword.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get bomb mail right here. On Jarhead's side, so...
Yep, for those of you that don't know, whenever you find bombs in the vanilla game, Beetle sends you a letter in the mail and gives you something for your troubles.
We got
to
a
let you know
really
that Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh, no, you're fine. Basically, yeah, he's just letting you know he's selling bombs, and he gives you something, and with Randomizer, that something can be anything. And like Melon mentioned in this, it is the rupee bag.
Yep, and the rupee bag also leads to a mail.
So now we get Pharaoh's Girl.
Which also leads to a mail.
That causes a guy, as we learned yesterday from our good friend Mongol, whose name was giving no other name other than Kamali's father. He is going to send us a letter with a gift in it. And it's a bow.
Well, that was a good chain of mail there.
Yeah. Yeah, that. And, you know, sometimes you have that, although sometimes you get those chains where you just keep getting them, and then it just leads to nothing, and then you just want to cry.
That is true, yeah. I think Jarhead's headed to Eastern Ferry now. Gonna be able to open up that ferry.
Yeah, makes sense. This is it has a similar requirement to Paw Print with either the power bracelets or the bombs, and it's right beside here, and it's one of those cases where there's no other really faster way to get to Eastern Ferry at the point that we're at right now, so just get it and get it out of the way. See, our runner's really basically neck and neck at this point, honestly. Jarhead obviously a slight bit ahead. Jim hasn't checked those mail checks yet, so he's going to do that here and have to play his Song of Passing in twice. Actually, he may just go into... he's going to play it. I was just thinking, with that one, he could just go into the fairy fountain, get the item there, and leave, and then he'd have the next mail, and that could save a Song of Passing. Ooh, there's the Deku leaf.
Another great find.
Yeah, wow. Are we going to get one of those fabled jet seeds where both of these top runners are going to be done in like an hour and 10 minutes or something?
That would be the Jim and Jarhead thing to do.
Right. Let's not get too excited now. We could still get that Picto box in Hyrule.
Yeah, it could happen.
I know we've all been hoping for that for a long time.
Do you know who rolled this one today, Elijah?
I do not know who rolled the seed. My guess would be Trez.
I am assuming it was Trez, but I've been surprised in the past.
Right.
Oh,
and we have confirmation in chat. This is definitely not a normal Trez seed so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is that Picto box in Hyrule.
Who knows? It could be the double vanilla.
Oh man, that would be gorgeous. That's what we need for grand finals. Jarhead going to everyone's favorite island, Bomb Island.
Not a bad island to go to. Just extremely slow.
Little, some call it Heartbreak Island.
Yeah, it does hurt a little when you don't find anything good here.
Yeah, it's because you take 10 years to do it, especially when those magtails, they never land on the switches, and then you're just barely 1 pixel too far to the left on these little skinny things, and you just slide into the lava, and you're like, that shouldn't happen. There's no way.
So we do have a little bit of deviation in their routing right now. Gymnast decided to go to Southern Ferry, which he will open with bombs. And I'm thinking that Jarhead's going to be doing the same thing shortly after, but it depends on what he finds here in Bomb Island.
Yeah, I feel like I see Jim really favor Southern Ferry in the races that I've watched that he's done with us here. It seems to be a place he likes to go to. I know a lot of runners kind of have their one sort of quote-unquote special island that they like to check it as early as possible. Unfortunately, both of these runners' choices in these islands this time not paying off, getting Tingle Statue, which is cool, but unfortunately not needed. And a heart piece on Jarhead's side, of course. And now we wait and see the decisions. It would be kind of funny if they both went to... Oh, looks like Jarhead's opting for Thorn Ferry.
Yep, he's going to be getting storage on the platform that's near Thorn Ferry. And
I really like this strat.
Just walk through the wall.
Ah, yes. The fabled walking through walls.
Yeah, Jarhead is one of those players that likes to get Thorn Ferry done pretty early, as soon as he can, really.
Yeah.
It's so far out of the way compared to a lot of the other checks that if you're at Bomb Island and you can do it, you might as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there. It's I think Jarhead usually takes the mentality of wanting to basically making the assumption that the seed is going to take you into Hyrule for an item, but checking everywhere else first anyway, so he just tries to get all the checks done as fast as possible. Whereas some people some people like to say, I'll never go to this island or something like that. But and Jarhead figuring, I'm already at Bomb Island, there's not really any other closer place to this fairy island, so might as well just get it out of the way.
And there's that storage for Jarhead. Jim is just waiting on Mila.
Yes, this is the fun part of these settings. The fabled waiting for Mila. Although I realize everybody else says Mila, but I've always said Mila because I have a cousin whose name is Mila, and it's spelled the same way. So I always feel like the outcast when I'm saying it.
You know, everyone pronounces things differently.
This is true. So let's see what's in Thorn Ferry. Thanks, Sis. I'm glad somebody else has sensibility. And another Master Sword. Ooh, but Mila has fire and ice arrows. Oh my. So, That is pretty crazy. Fire and ice arrows are going to, of course, open up more checks here for Jim. Master Sword's still required, though, so that means Jim's going to have to take that long trip over to Thorn eventually. But he hasn't done Bomb Island yet, so, that could be something for him to do later. Jarhead going to go get his Tingle statue at Southern Ferry, it looks like now. Jim's going to have some fun with fire arrow hitboxes on this lighthouse.
Yeah. Mila had the delivery bag in yesterday's race. And Jar put that off. He last location Mila. But as we saw, it really didn't help him too much. Mila is one of those checks that it's either a waste of time or it's really good.
Yeah.
But
and since it just takes so long, it can be really nerve-wracking to do it without, having something else to do while you're just standing there waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Obviously, Jarhead will check it eventually. Don't know when that will be, but
yeah,
who knows?
It's definitely, it can go either way, right? Because you have where the fire and ice arrows couldn't be something to where it gave it to you early, so that way you can, because it has other things in the fire ice checks, but it could also just be that it doesn't. You never really know. That's kind of the beauty of the randomizer. So, as far as Jarhead goes, he could, if the fire and ice arrows lead to good things, then he'll probably end up needing to, the logic will push him towards Mila sooner rather than later. But if not, then it also may not.
But Jar is going to do DRC instead. Not going to be able to full clear just yet, but, that grapple could be in here. You never know.
Absolutely. A lot of things, something that I see happen a lot with DRC is that it gives you those pearls and gets you into Tot G, which wouldn't be too bad either because we have everything we need to full clear Tot G. Not in logic, but, we have a couple tricks up our sleeve to help with that.
Yep.
And also...
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, not too bad of a choice to go into DRC here, because you can always open up the warp pot and go back when you're in Tot G later, so... Jarhead probably figuring there's a...
that cutscene.
Yeah. Jar probably figuring there's a lot of low sphere checks here, and...
Yeah, the check density and the spheres that are in DRC are pretty nice for early game, so... I won't be surprised if he finds something good in here.
Yeah. It's very, very seldom do you see DRC being completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the delivery bag on Outset, right? That's where Jim's at? Outset Ferry?
Yep.
That is a really nice find, because we also know that that's not a place that Jarhead will probably go until he finds a bottle. So he can do Grandma there as well. But it kind of depends, right? It's we're still early in this one, so...
Yep. Only about 25 minutes in. Got quite a bit more to go.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good finds though on both sides here we're seeing. So this major route divergence is definitely paying off, at least for us from the perspective of the viewers. So we have a better idea of the overall logic of this seed, since we're seeing them go to different locations. In a sense, we're clearing the seed even faster in our minds. I don't think Jar opened up the warp pot there, but he might do it on... Yeah. He has leaf, so it's not too bad. Jim finding his bottle there.
Gonna have to go get a fairy before he can save Grandma, though.
Yeah, what was that from? Was that from, oh, Mailing Note to Mom.
Yeah.
I think that's what he just did. Okay, yeah. So, Jim still has a couple of fairy islands he can go to. That, not at this precise moment, but he can get his fairy from. Looks like he's going to do the Cafe Postman. See what he's got to offer. We're going to open up this warp pot here. I guess that also kind of makes sense because then you don't have to, you can just jump down to the other warp pod if he decides he wants to open that.
Mm-hmm.
While Jim is going to do the thing. He did the thing!
The nice
make
thing
the camera go
though,
crazy.
with the settings that we have is we do have warp pots between dungeons. So if Jar doesn't find the grapple in DRC, he'll be able to pop back in here once. Ooh,
There's a Picto box for Jar. That's a good find for him.
Yep. So once Jar goes to Tachi, if he does have to come back, it won't be too difficult for him to do so. But yeah, that Picto box is going to help a lot when Jar goes back to Windfall. He'll be able to
Jim.
that with Smiley.
Yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think Jim probably doing what I saw Tanjo put in chat, starting Zunari, so that way he can go to do Great Fish, maybe check that fairy island there, and grab a fairy.
Possibly, yeah. Yesterday, Jim did not do Western Fairy, though, without the hammer, so I don't know if he'll attempt to do it today or not. But we will see.
Yeah, very true, very true. He did opt out of that strat. And a heart piece. Yeah, so I'm wondering if Jarhead's gonna go open the warp. I think he's probably gonna continue up the he's gonna continue up the dungeon and check the boss area as well, it looks like. And it looks like he is as Jim is also just doing the trading. It looks like Jar is going to try and open that warp pot from up above here. Jim finishing his trading sequence. Showing off his beautiful exotic flower. And let's see what he does. He is going to do Needle Rock, it looks like. Jarhead going to use the neat little warping strat where if you void it takes you back to the last door that you, or loading zone you came through, so take him back up to the top.
Yep.
And yes, one of our other runners, Pogi, loves Needle Rock. It has been deemed by some to be Pogi Island. Basically a fun little area where you just use some fire arrows and you light a bunch of torches and then you get a chest. One of those lovely puzzle secret caves, as I believe the randomizer calls them.
Yep.
That one way up in the top there is the one that always gets to me. I can't ever... It's so far away.
Ooh,
Oh, full Master Sword.
That is the full Master Sword. The last one being in DRC here. So we had one in Diamond Step, one in Thorn, and one in DRC. So technically only one still in... Or no, 2 in logic since they have the hook shot now.
Yeah.
So, full Master Sword already. Only just a little bit more than 30 minutes in.
Yeah, definitely don't see that every day.
No.
Especially, in all honesty, I think it's probably more likely to see the bows first, just because bows kind of have a little bit more logic, whereas now this DRC is turning out really, really, really interesting here. But yeah, just because the bows have more logic with the fire ice arrows, and the swords really have well, like none, honestly.
Yeah, that is true. The sword doesn't really open much, other than the barrier. But
Ooh, there's a required item for Jim. So Zunari is something we're going to have to do. Command Melody. I need that in Wind Temple. Can't get past much of that dungeon without it. It looks like Jim's going to Mother Child, so he's going to be grabbing that fairy, I would guess, to save Grandma here. We're going to see what's in this mini-boss area. That's Joy Pendant. So now we can all smile with joy. The Mother-Child chest there's no requirement for that. You can just warp right in there, because we start with the Ballad of Gales.
So, Jar has opened up the Picto Box checks on Windfall, and he can also do Angular now.
Yes, and the only thing he's going to have to go back into DRC for, as we all know, is, like we're saying in chat, just to finish the boss, because the big key area he now knows just has a small key and the compass, so we don't really need or want those. So
I'm pretty sure Jarhead found the compass.
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty sure I saw the compass.
Gotcha, I might have missed that one.
So he will have to go back and check, because I think the only item that he does know of being down there is the small key.
Good eyes, Melon. And thank you, Artemis. I'm sure that was on the spreadsheet. There is a chest on Mother and Child, but it's not in the logic for these settings, so it's not going to have any required items.
Yep, and they want to leave that chest for later when they go to do Forsaken Fortress.
Yep. Oh, another bottle for Jim. Jarn just realizing now that he forgot to talk to Lenzo.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate not finding the... Excuse me. That is an unfortunate...
But it'll be okay.
Turn of events.
He's going to be able to get his fire and ice arrows here. So he'll be able to do the lighting up the lighthouse while he goes to get that Picto check. So it's not too much of a loss.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, he was not in... Excuse me, he had not talked to Lenzo yet. He started Mila first. I must have forgot, obviously. It's hard to say. The fire and ice arrows definitely have a lot more use than the full Master Sword. Picto Box is a nice find for Jarhead. So it's, it's still... the routes are so different. There's Jarhead's fire and ice arrows, though, so... But yeah, it's basically we're going to have to just kind of wait and see. It's still really early, although I suppose with as good as these two runners are, we're basically halfway through at this point. And a nice big heart for Jim.
Ooh, are we gonna have really healthy characters today?
I'm not sure if there'll be any. I don't know if it's possible for them to be much healthier than they were yesterday, in all honesty.
They ended up with like 8 hearts yesterday.
Yeah, I think one of them had 8 and one had 9, maybe?
Maybe. I don't remember the exact number, but yeah, it was a lot. Relatively to what we're used to, I suppose.
True. Looks like Jim heading for, is that Bomb Island?
Maybe?
Yes, I believe so. Looks like it. It's that little kind of flat looking island there. Now we're going to get the big reveal. How good is that Picto Box find?
Yep, we're going to get 3 checks out of this Picto Box.
It's another Picto Box.
Make that 4 checks.
And there's the pearl. So now we have all of Tower of the Gods.
Yep. Jar doesn't have command melody yet, but that's not necessary to get through Tower of the Gods. It's just necessary to put it into logic.
Yeah, we have a couple of tricks for that. Yes, I you know, that's one thing that I said it before and I'll say it again. I think that happens a lot. But it's really interesting that a Picto Box is in the second Picto Box is up there, because that just means that Nehru's Pearl is locked behind that bird's nest.
Mm-hmm. Jarhead trying to get back up to talk to Creed to get that check there.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing he'll probably change it today to do Pompey Vera Menenko, and then go back tonight to do the transparent chest, because I know he hates going back and forth and back and forth. He probably would rather just do day than night again.
Oh yeah,
but we'll see. Yeah. And Jim gonna finish up Bomb Island. Didn't have too much trouble there, it looked like. That's true. Never forget the importance of the skull necklaces. Those are very key. And
giving us a rupee bag upgrade. Not gonna do anything for us right now, though.
Yeah, the big wallet is basically useless in these settings. So it looks like the rest of Picto is dead. So are we gonna see the grapple in Tower of the Gods? If so, that's pretty disgusting, given where the pearl was and the Picto Box situation. But, you know, we'll see. Jim heading up to, is that Fire Mountain?
Yes, I believe so. I had a thought, and now I don't remember what it was.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I do. I really do.
It's so hard to keep right now because they're both doing such different things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's information overload.
Jarhead hasn't checked Angular Island yet, so he might opt to do that.
Yeah, probably thinking maybe he'll do that with Ice Ring here, which we know from Jim. What did he get? A heart container there, I think?
Yep.
Heart container, yeah. And Jim ascending the Mountain of Fire rapidly. About 30 seconds faster than I'd be able to make it in there. Or make it up there, rather. Oh, that's unfortunate.
So right now, we're not missing a lot for no mode. We need the grapple hook and the iron boots, I think.
And the skull hammer.
And the skull hammer.
Yeah. And the light arrow.
Obviously, the light arrow.
Yeah, but that's always it. Always seems like it comes down to that, right?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, we've seen some Iron Boots Go modes in the past.
Yeah. We still have Moblin's Letter out there. That could be in Hyrule. You know, we could still have our Hyrule. Unfortunately, no double Hyrule items, no sword and bow, but Moblin's Letter could be, you know. Jarhead gonna get his extra life.
Yeah, so I don't think the Fire and Ice checks had anything.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I did miss what Jim got from Fire Mountain, but Jim's going to go into DRC now, and he's going to be disappointed by not finding Grapple, but he's going to get a bunch of other cool stuff, most likely.
Mm-hmm. But it does seem that Jarhead is going to be doing these Fire and Ice arrow checks. I mean, he at least did Ice Ring. I don't know if he'll decide to do Tower of the Gods before doing the other ones, though, so...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I would say, obviously he has an idea of what he wants to get here. That's why he's going to Angular. So I would say he's trying to find maybe some other things to help him out in Tower of the Gods before he goes there, but I'm not sure what else he could be looking for, honestly. I guess maybe he's figuring since he's only really missing... He's not missing very much. Maybe he's going to try and see if he can get a couple Tachi Go mode mixed with Wind Temple and Forsaken Fortress. But
yeah, it's possible.
Jim, of course, entering DRC. We're going to see how far into this he clears. Is he going to just stick with the logic, or is he going to do the whole dungeon with the out of logic stuff, kind of like Jarhead did? He's equipping his bow. That makes me think he is going to try and shoot down the platform.
So we're going to see what's in Angular, everyone's favorite island. Just a rupee this time. Nothing anything special.
Thing. Usually Angular doesn't let us down, but today was not its day, apparently.
Sometimes you just gotta give Angular a break, you know? Angular works so hard.
It's true. It's a hard-working island. It doesn't like to let us down, but, you know, everybody needs a day off.
So Jar is going to Tachi, so we're going to start that at least. If he finds Grapple early in the dungeon, I'm almost positive he'll take the pot back to DRC to finish that up first. But if he doesn't, I can see him full clearing Tower of the Gods in one go, so we'll see how it plays out.
Imagine we get some kind of grapple hook go mode where we have everything else and the grapple hook is somewhere late in Wind Temple or something like that. It would be pretty incredible. Jim getting up his big key and his little key.
Having the fire arrows on the first floor of Tachi is so nice.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of time there.
Jarhead has not checked Grandma yet. Jarhead has actually not found a bottle yet.
Yep.
And delivery checks haven't led to anything so far, except for Command Melody, which is... I said it hadn't led to anything, and I realized immediately after that it had Command Melody, so... Yes.
Yep. Unfortunately, Command Melody is required for the seed in Wind Temple. It's the only place that people really use it. There's a bottle for Jarhead, so I'm sure we'll see Grandma shortly after he's done with this dungeon.
Yeah, that'll probably be his next step since there's no Earth Temple. So there's no real reason to not do it and not get the soup. Especially since he can finish off that location. There's the dungeon map. And yeah, we're just going to be seeing first check here in Tower of the Gods. Another treasure chart. Lovely. Just what we were all hoping for. Gymnast collecting some of these checks here in DRC and getting his Picto box. So that's going to get him his access to the to Tower of the Gods, of course, indirectly.
So we haven't seen anything in Tower of the Gods yet. There's one more check that we can get before the warp pot back to DRC, so I don't know if we'll make a jump back or not yet.
Yeah, one thing that you could see happen, he may decide to do the statues first, and then, since it's all in one big circular room, it's not too bad to do the statues and then go into take the warp pot back. Unfortunately, Jarhead kind of getting trolled here by this guy.
Yeah, this is not one of my favorite rooms.
Yeah, and Jim just kind of just hardcore boosting through DRC here. Just checking, making quick work of this dungeon, getting another heart piece, and he's going to have an extra heart as well now. So both our runners up to 5 hearts. Jarhead a little trouble with the platform there. And there's another bottle. So now we have bottle percent for us in the chat here. Watching bottle percent. I think Jarhead just going, since he has the big key, he knows that he can, doesn't have to do that hop across boxes until the end. Since he knows it won't be the big key, he wanted to do big key skip. And it's really slow, so if potentially it ends up being a map or a compass, he can avoid it altogether.
Yep. Or a key, if it's the other small key, you won't need to use that.
That's true as well. It definitely could be. I always forget about that.
Yeah, there's 2 keys in TWWR, but we only use one.
Yeah, I always forget about that second one because it doesn't matter.
There's a map though, so that cuts down
one of those. Jim getting his sword here. Yep, I believe now we just have still haven't found the compass and still have that one small key still, so.
Yep.
So to answer your question there, this is the second game, but since it is a Jarhead came from loser's bracket, the Gymnast coming from winner's bracket was given a 1-game advantage in the best of 5, so it's kind of in that sense a best of 4, because only at most 4 actual matches will be played. Gymnast going to get his mirror shield here, and he's going to seemingly finish up what he can in DRC as well. And we get to see those cutscenes we were all talking about earlier in DRC. You know, these beautiful, beautiful cutscenes where statues are just kind of hopping around and we get to watch them do that. Always nice, always lovely. Last Master Sword is in Thorn Fairy, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. I had to think for a second. And there's the Moblin's Lair. So our forced double dip on Hyrule Dreams are kind of dead.
Dang.
As unfortunate as that is. So Gymnast done in DRC now. Oh, Jarhead getting just beaten by the fire bubble there guy.
Yeah. Those bubbles are not kind.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. We're kind of really, really far in here. And no Triforce pieces for any of these runners yet, other than the 4 we start with. Says, yeah. For those of you that don't know, the vanilla bubble colors, joke being, of course, in the newer builds of the randomizer, there is actually a enemy color palette randomizer, which can make the enemies be different and cool colors. Jim remembering this isn't 100%, he doesn't have to go up to the top there. And mini boss down for Jar, as Jim's going to hop up here and he's going to get his second Picto Box and Nehru's Pearl. Right, that's what's in the other one. The other checks, of course, leading to non-useful things. And the iron boots are in Taji. That is a really nice find. And we're going to hop across these platforms here as Jim comes and snags his picture of these two lovebirds. That's kind of their whole thing right there. They belong together. And yeah, still no grapple hook, so this is definitely shaping up to be very interesting.
Yeah, at this point, it wouldn't be surprising if it's actually in Wind Temple.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure how the lore works out. I'm kind of, I haven't actually read any of the text in the game in so long.
Which lore are you talking about?
With Lenzo and Minenko. Are they actually in love, or are they just working on some kind of, like, arts and crafts project together?
I don't think they are. I don't know. I'd have to go back and read the dialogue, but...
Yeah, which is not something I plan on doing anytime soon. Jim finishing up his Picto checks. He's got his massive wallet and a nice silver rupee to stuff in it. And there's the compass, so now we're down to just that small key, right?
Yep.
And 2 places left that the small key could be.
Yep, in this next room. If it's not in there, he doesn't have to do that last check on the first floor.
That's true, so.
But if we find it, then he does.
Yep, looks like Jim heading to Angular now. Oh, there's the light arrow. So
yeah, Jar just needs those dungeon items now.
We need the grapple hook and the skull hammer, and that is all we have left.
Yep.
Wow.
Jar does still need the command melody to get through Wind Temple.
That's true.
We do know that is locked behind Zunari.
Yep. And heart piece. So it looks like that other small key was down there. So that is nice for Jarhead. Wondering if Gymnast will have that same once he gets into Tower of the Gods. Maybe take that same strategy. We still have one more check in Tower of the Gods that could lead us to something.
Yep, we just had that big key chest here in Taji.
Yeah. The delivery bag, to answer your question, Blondie, was in the Outset Ferry. Jarhead has not gone there yet. Gymnast has.
Yep. Jarhead wanted to wait for a bottle to go save Grandma, which he now has. So he
has actually 2 of them now.
Yeah. And he'll get another one for saving Grandma.
Yeah, so this is probably going to be the part where you'll see, like was mentioned in chat there, the two runners catch back up because Jim has been doing Overworld this whole time, and Jar has been in these dungeons, and now Jim's probably going to head to Tower of the Gods, and Jar's going to do the Overworld checks that Jim has already done. So if that is the way these runners decide to do it, this is where we're going to get a good idea of who is ultimately ahead. And yeah, that's true. Good point, Tuba. Cabana is completely skippable. We can't get in there without Grapple Hook anyway, and Skullhammer, and those are the only two things that we need. And here we have another cutscene, the last of these with the statues. You can see this statue take its time and hop, hop, hop. And Gymnast is in Tower of the Gods, so yep, like Crane said, Light Arrow's in Tower of the Gods, and the Master Sword's in Thorn Fairy. And watching cutscenes. Jarhead picking up some magic because he does not have soup yet. Gymnast going to get his bottle percent somewhere in here. I can't remember where the other one was, but it was in here. I know it.
Yep. The second one's on the Tingle chest. So
oh, that's right.
We'll get that shortly.
Good memory, Melon. And a joy pen. So
sometimes my brain works.
At this point, I think like the worst thing we can have happen is that like the Skullhammer is vanilla, maybe. And the grapple is.
That is possible.
Yeah, vanilla Skullhammer and grapple late into Wind Temple, like the very bottom, maybe the kill all the enemies room. That's kind of. The worst.
Mean, grapple could be in the vanilla hammer chest.
That's true. Could be. That could be pretty gross, because then you'd have to come back to Forsaken Fortress.
Yeah, but if hammer is vanilla, it wouldn't be too bad, because you could just finish the rest of Forsaken Fortress while you're there.
True. I guess you're right. Grapple in that chest would be a lot worse, wouldn't it? And then
yeah.
Then you have the hammer being in the basement of DRC, because that would be the only other place it could be, other than maybe, because then it would be locked behind grapple, and that, and we're looking for torture here, right? That's what we want. That's what we want.
That's what we want. That's not what the players want, though.
Right. But as spectators, that's the goal, ultimate goal.
Yeah.
This is another thing too, just to give an idea of just how slow Tower of the Gods is. Jim did all those overworld checks, and cleared a bunch of stuff out in the overworld, and still, Jarhead's just now getting to Tower of the Gods, and it's not like he's had a rough Tower of the Gods either, you know what I mean? It's just so slow. So slow. It feels like this is like phase 1000 of Godin, but I know it's not. It's just so slow. Oh man. Jim gonna get his bottle percent here once he gets to the top. More like slowed in, exactly. Glad somebody else gets it. And there's another bottle for Jim. So he has got maximum bottles.
Yep, bottle.
Jim gonna open up the pot here, just in case. Another thing this does mean, though, since the grapple was not in Tower of the Gods, that means that we're gonna have to get back up into DRC the quote-unquote vanilla way, which is grotesquely slow. Maybe not grotesquely slow, but it's pretty slow. Light Arrows is in the floating platforms room in Tower of the Gods.
Yep. So one of the last checks in the dungeon.
And we have our first Triforce shard. How about that, guys? It only took us 1 hour and 1 minute. Okay, luckily these runners are back sort of diverging, so we're going to have Jarhead most likely doing a lot of stuff that Jim's already done, and Jim doing stuff that Jarhead's already done. So this is going to kind of help us be able to relax our brains here for a little bit, you know, because we've all been trying really hard to watch 2 things at once and remember 2 completely different item sets at once, so this is nice. This is nice.
All right, I need to step away for a moment. It will only be a couple seconds, but I will be right back.
Okay. We're going to see Jarhead head over to Fire Mountain now. Of course, we know Jim was there earlier, and it had nothing, but Jarhead doesn't know that, so he is going to go for it, hoping that maybe that's where his grapple hook or his skull hammer or delivery bag is. Actually, kind of surprised Jarhead not going for the Outset Island checks to save Grandma and everything yet, but I suppose he's already pretty close to Fire Mountain, having left Tower of the Gods, so not bad. Hello, Zelda. Welcome to the race. We've got a good one for us here today. Yes, in total, the randomizer actually has 302 item locations. And the settings we have total up to a total of 132, but 2 of the dungeons are always excluded from logic, and those are counted in that 132, so you can knock off 20 to 30 right off the bat, depending on the seed in which dungeons are out of logic, so which is very nice. And Moblin's letter for Jim. And this is a part in Fire Mountain that used to never give me trouble, but now it seems like this room is evil. Anything with Magtails is just
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back, Melon. I tried to just jabber on for a while you were gone, just to, you know, kind of avoid the awkwardness.
I appreciate that.
I think our man in chat, Tuba Man, definitely gives a good point. Since we know that the last sword for Jim is at Thorn, a lot of it's going to come down to how late he does that. He could be going there very soon. It's not too far from leaving Tower of the Gods, so his plan may be to go do that yet, although it won't be in logic, so... Of course, gymnasts can do this trick just by, you know, like, looking at it. And just rotating. Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Slipped
he had it too.
There and lost the statue.
He had it too. That is unfortunate. Eli Island. Oh, God. I'm actually honored to have an island named after me in that instance. It's just unfortunate it's one I don't like. I guess that's how it always works, though, right? And I'm sorry, Melon, what were you going to say?
Gymnast ended up falling again on his second attempt here, so we're going for attempt 3. And there we go.
It seems he finds that that side hop part is not the part that was giving him difficulty, was it? At least the first time. I did miss the second time while I was... Too many things going on at once, I tell you.
Jarhead gonna grab his delivery bag from this fairy here, and then head down to Grandma and save her.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of really cool custom character models. One we're all still waiting for. We're really hoping that eventually we get one of those mailbox models. That would be pretty nice. I'd love to play as the mailbox. I kind of think I'm kind of torn on whether it would be cooler to have it be like hopping around, like doing its wiggling motion, or if it would be better maybe to just have it slide like motionless throughout the world. I think that'd be pretty funny. I see Crane's on board with the sliding. See, just like a completely stationary mailbox, and it just like slides along the. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Oh man, Jim, of course, finding his iron boots there just a moment ago. And Jarhead rescuing Grandma. The wiggling is the idle animation. Yeah, there we go. I like that. And then when you go to crawl, it just like falls like face first, flat down. That would be hilarious.
I would use that model.
Absolutely.
G2 just means that this is the second game. However, Gymnast did come into this with 1 up, since he came from winner's bracket. So that's why each of them have a point so far.
Yes.
Chat using that new soup command.
Yes. Very nice, very nice. Another bottle for Jarhead.
And
they're stacking
Gymnast
up.
Is on his way to get those lovely, lovely light arrows.
And there's another bottle for Jarhead. And there's Gymnast's light arrows, so he's probably pretty happy about that, I would say.
So we saw light arrows and bottle percent at the same time?
Dang. What, how fortunate are we, to be able to experience something like that? Oh, Jarhead going for a super swim here, so if you're sensitive to quick flashes, just kind of be wary there. He's going to be using a storage trick to rotate in the water back and forth frame perfectly to build up an insane amount of speed and swim superly.
Yep, he'll be going to Needle Rock to get that Fire Knight's arrow check there.
Yep, I'm guessing he decided to do this now just because Needle Rock is a really good place actually to fill back up on arrows when you're getting low, and he only has 2 arrows left, so Tower of the Gods can be a real drain on your arrow supply.
Oh yeah, especially with Godan, so...
Oh yeah, he just eats arrows like for breakfast. And the Keys are not being anybody's friend here. At least for Gymnast. I guess in that sense I could argue that they're being friendly to Jarhead.
Very true.
Jarhead doing Needle Rock, which we saw Jim do earlier, and we of course know is not anything, I think. I think it's just like a chart or something. Heart piece. Rupees. Oh, dang. I gave 2 guesses and they were both wrong. Just shows what kind of day I'm having. No lottery tickets today.
You knew that it was useless, and that's all that matters.
It's true. My brain doesn't take the time to remember the useless stuff.
Exactly.
And so we're going to see Jarhead head back to Windfall. He's got delivery bag stuff to do.
Yep, so he will, knowing Jarhead, do the trading quest and do Western Ferry.
Oh!
Ooh.
That's unfortunate.
Yes.
For Jim there.
Yes, it was. But as I was saying, Jar will do Western Ferry. He'll do another storage strat on one of the platforms like he did with Thorn.
Yeah, just in case that's where Grapple Hook is, locked behind that skull hammer.
It is possible, yeah.
Right now, we don't really have an idea there, Rupee, who is ahead. it's kind of difficult. Unfortunately, Jarhead was not able to get that turnaround. Oh, I guess he probably didn't need to get it. He's got to check the Moblin letter.
He's got to go give that letter to Maggie, so not too important to be able to open the door super fast.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he'd do it anyway, just because it looks cool, but it does lose a little bit of time if you don't have to just open the door, so. And Moblin's letter is the Skull Hammer, so that is a pretty good find there. We have access to...
Yep, that opens up all of Forsaken Fortress, but it also opens up Wind Temple, so.
Yes. Jarhead not having the command melody yet, though.
That is true. He's about to get that first town flower, though, which we know leads to the command melody.
Right. So my guess here would be, since he's just looking for grapple, he will most definitely clear out everything he can in the overworld first, and then probably get that. Either get the grapple hook in some place like Western, or then head to Forsaken, but we're just going to have to wait and find out.
Yeah, Forsaken Fortress, though, is one of those really fast dungeons. So, you know, if he decides to do it now, or if he decides to do it later, it really doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, it's not that much faster to skip the 4 extra checks than it is to just full clear it.
Yeah.
He's going to do a warp, so he is going to do the trading sequence first, it looks like. That is another point. As far as Jarhead knows, Command Melody and the Grapple Hook are both in Forsaken Fortress, since Wind Temple is completely out of logic without that. Jim up to the Godin fight now, so we're going to get to see him battle Godin for what's going to feel like an eternity. At least that's how it always feels to me.
Yeah, it's one of the longer boss fights.
Especially when he does that thing where you can't shoot his eyes.
Ugh, the worst.
Jarhead getting his exotic flower here. Although Jim's already on to phase... That was his second bomb, right? So, I mean, he is making pretty quick work of this really, really, really slow boss. And Jarhead heading over to Western Ferry. Yeah, as far as who's ahead right now, it does appear like Jarhead might have a slight advantage, but it's going to depend, really, at this point it really depends on where the grapple hook is. And I guess now we also know that the basement in the DRC Big Key area, I always call it the basement, I'm not sure why. But the I think it's because it's down, like, it's like the bottom part, and you go, like, down deeper in, you know what I mean? I don't know. It makes sense to me.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. But now we know that that is completely skippable, because the only other is a grapple hook can't be there, and that's the only thing we need now, so...
Yep.
We don't have to worry about that place. See if Jim goes... the real unfortunate thing for Jim is it looks like he's not going to go try and sneak into Western Ferry without Hammer, and that's going to give him a big disadvantage. I think just because he's going to get the Hammer now. Or, sorry, yeah, Thorn. But that probably would have been his next best opportunity to go there, I think. But hey, yeah, we got the Boomerang, so that's pretty cool. The dedicated bat killer. It looks like Forsaken Fortress is the play for Jarhead, so... the interesting thing here is, for Gymnast, once he turns this in, he's going to actually have the Skull Hammer. So he's going to have the option to go to Wind Temple right now, actually. Since he already has the command melody.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what he decides to do. Because ultimately at this point, really is just one Thorn Fairy behind Jarhead, I believe. So, and of course Jarhead has to turn in Zunari. Jim is going to go into Wind Temple. So Wind Temple's the play for Jim here. So this is going to be it, guys. We're going to get to see where's the grapple. You know,
where is that grapple?
Yep. If it's in Forsaken Fortress, then obviously Jarhead has a huge advantage. If it's in Wind Temple, then that definitely gives Jim a chance to take a pretty significant lead as well. Correct. The last sword is at Thorn Fairy, so. Yeah, so this is definitely shaping up to be a fast one. Jarhead doing a fun little strat to Super Swim to Forsaken Fortress and basically just walk through walls again like we so often do. That's true. It is impossible for us to have a Hyrule seat at this point, as unfortunate as that is for all of us, you know, watching from home.
I don't think Jim will check Cabana because the only item he needs is the grapple, and you need grapple to get into Cabana.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. He can't actually, unless he finds grapple, then maybe he checks Cabana. But since he still needs the sword, but
yeah.
but if he doesn't find grapple, then obviously he can't even check Cabana. So.
Mm-hmm.
And Jarhead going to use storage to walk down to this area here because it's much faster to fight Helmrock at the bottom of this room because Helmrock has really, really crazy bad RNG.
No. Jarhead is not in Go mode. He needs the grapple hook to defeat Goma. So
Jarhead falling down here. Trying to use the boomerang to keep Helmrock from flying away. Hopefully he can get back up and not have to... Oh, falling again. The boomerang is definitely helping out. Not something you see every day here. But he was able to finish it off, so... That was definitely interesting, to say the least.
In the end, it worked. That's all that matters.
So, those of you that run the game here, something to keep in mind: if you fall down, all hope is not lost.
Second Triforce Shard there for Jarhead.
Yeah, it's a good thing he found that boomerang. And it's happening to reset there is that would have lost a lot more time. So now we're really going to get to see here, right? We're going to get to see the Forsaken Fortress and what does it have for us. Jim finding a second small key. Bokoblin chest. What do you got for us today? A nice
rupee?
purple rupee. Well, at least it was purple, which is my favorite color. I don't know about you guys.
Purple is a good color.
Yeah. It's just so, and I really like the purple of these purple rupees. Like, it's a good color of purple, I think. All right, so chest on the bed. What do you have for us today? Rupees, and there's the grapple hook.
Now Jarhead is in go mode. So,
Dang.
well, no, he still needs the command melody.
That's true.
We know where it is. We know
we are in no mode, as they say.
So, yes, chat wins.
Yes. So ultimately, us as spectators are the real winner. Yeah. So unfortunately, Wind Temple going to be completely empty here. And realistically, for Jarhead, he is down to just. Oh,
Trevor! We got Trevor, guys.
Very nice. I think the only check left for Jarhead is that Zunari check. I'm guessing he saved it for last because he could grab it when going to Wind Temple.
Yep.
So this is going to be where he gets his go mode, so he's going to be able to do the Wind Temple go mode here. And yeah, looking to wrap up pretty quickly here. Depending, of course, on how the Wind Temple go mode goes. But Jim does appear like he's going to full clear Wind Temple.
Yes, that's rather unfortunate for Gymnast. Just kind of making the wrong decision on which dungeon to go to, but sometimes it comes down to that.
Yep, the 50-50 can be it can get you sometimes. Now it is worth there Jar gets the command melody. And so now
Jar is officially in go mode. He's going to be able to go mode Wind Temple, get down to Mulgara, and just go on to Puppet Cannon.
Yeah. We also, just remember, we do have to dip back into DRC. We haven't killed Goma yet. And that is, we still need that Triforce piece. So those of you at home that may have forgotten, DRC still exists. I think at this point the real advantage was getting that Thorn Fairy sword pretty early. So Jarhead was able to look more at clearing for logic of the grappling hook and the command melody, as opposed to Jim. Since he didn't have the full sword, he still is kind of clearing with in mind that the sword could literally be anywhere. Yeah, that's a very good point as well, Artemis. The keys are very early in Wind Temple, and that is going to be really good for Jarhead.
Which one is first, the small key or the big key? Do you remember?
I do not remember, but
Artemis
says big keys.
Artemis. So yeah, Jar won't even have to do any storage here. He'll just be able to get the big key, followed by the small key, and head on down to Mulgara. So it will be a pretty fast Wind Temple go mode.
Yep. And here we go. Yeah, so this is really another really good another really close race. It just came down to that one last call there. Big key for Jar. I don't think he had Makar step on the switch. It's gonna be, yeah. He just I think he just realized that too. He's gonna have to do the cool strats here. Doing a trick we call spring jump storage, where you can just kind of do that. You can save your jump for a little bit later by getting off the spring while it's on off screen, and it allows you to get the jump whenever you would like it. Yeah, it does. If the spring isn't loaded on screen, it actually won't do the jump. And yeah, when you rotate the camera, it puts it back on screen, and then what's the saying? Pop goes the weasel. Jim in the mini boss, of course, light arrows makes that kind of a joke. Light arrows basically makes everything kind of a joke.
Yeah, light arrows are very overpowered in this game. But in the vanilla game, you get them really late, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Right, the Nintendo thought, oh, you know, light arrows, we can make them as broken as we want because there's no possible way we could get them before we have all the other items in the game, right? 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 Well, unfortunately, even in the vanilla game, they weren't quite correct about that. Unfortunate Jar getting knocked down, and this room has actually become my least favorite room in the entire game. Fire Keese, Employee of the Seed, maybe?
Not with that boomerang.
Oh yes, the boomerang, the Keese killer, strikes again. Look at that. But now Jarhead in the Wind Temple go mode official with his small key. Gonna be doing a fun little trick where you can slide while hookshotting and just sort of like do all sorts of things. I think Jarhead forgetting he doesn't need storage. Oh, nope. Just filling up on magic. I was wondering, I was like, oh, is he going for the chest? But I should have known better. Although you do see that sometimes, where runners, like, they're so used to doing the go mode with the storage that they're like, they forget that they don't always need it. Especially when you find the big key. So now we're at the next possible trolley room in this dungeon. I've seen those, the Wizrobe snipe you while you're hookshotting with, like, the fire shot, and that is never fun.
They always seem to do that to me when I'm in here.
Oh, Jim getting hit by the fan. That is really unfortunate. That fan hurts. It hits you really, really hard, as you guys all saw there. Jarhead doing a thing called jumping with metal shoes on. Definitely physically possible, by the way. And of course, this is not a trick that requires any sort of skill or anything at all, really, on this side. Even in the vanilla game, you can literally just slide along the wall or sidle along the wall and get right behind that stone. No real... you don't need to play the song at all, really. And Jim doing that backup strat you saw there, basically doing a... excuse me. A roll clip to get out of bounds instead of getting beat up by the fan again. And I believe he did not find the map, right? So he was able to skip to kill all the enemies, right?
Well, Garrett giving Jar a bit of an issue there.
Is it those dang worms again?
Yep,
I can't stand them.
they are the worst.
Oh, and the snipe not going through. Jim gonna go ahead and do the same skip of the song stone that is basically. It's pretty funny to me. I just find that one amusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just slide behind the song stone.
When I learned about that, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was amazed that I could do that so easily.
Yeah, it's pretty. You look at it and you think, oh, there's got to be some kind of trick, right, with how they're holding the control stick. It's super precise. No, it's not. It's basically free.
And there's Mulgera finished for Jarhead.
Yep. And Jim, I think, on his second phase of Mulgera there. And we're going to see Jarhead go back to DRC now for his last Triforce piece.
Yeah, it's not very often that I have seen Goma be the last Triforce shard.
Yeah, it's definitely... Ooh, Jim going for that second quick snipe there. Not quite getting it, unfortunately. The funny thing is that we actually did a fun race last night, and we had a very similar situation where it was the grapple hook that was the go mode, but instead of Forsaken, it was in the Earth Temple left side.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was definitely weird. In my mind, I was wondering, just because they're so used to doing Wind Temple or Earth Temple and those, or Tower of the Gods last, I was wondering if Jarhead was going to maybe accidentally warp to Hyrule. Or to Tower of the Gods. Obviously, you can't warp to Hyrule, but you know what I mean. Just thinking, okay, we're done. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where Jim goes next.
Does Jim have much option other than Forsaken Fortress?
I don't believe so. Thorn Fairy is, I think that's all he has left.
Yep.
I'm assuming he's going to do Thorn Fairy last.
He definitely has to do Thorn Fairy.
Yeah. The fastest rando seed, I think, the last I heard it was Gymnast got, what was it, like a 119 with these settings?
Yep, 119. Jar the other day got a 125 on just a seed that he did for practice.
Yeah, so that, that 119 was against Linkus, if in this tournament, I believe, actually, right?
Yep.
That was being restreamed. That was, I think you were doing commentary for that, weren't you, Melanie?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, that must have been pretty incredible to watch.
Yep, so it looks like Gymnast is heading to Forsaken Fortress. He's going to be doing a super swim here. So if you're sensitive to flashing lights, please look away. But he'll be able to get his grapple from Forsaken Fortress, and from there he could decide to go back to DRC and get that last check in the basin of DRC there before he even thinks to go to Thorn. It might be a last check sword.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Yeah, it's gonna come down to, I guess at this point, what Gymnast wants to do. Is he not wanting to put off Thorn any longer, or is he thinking maybe he's just going to bite the bullet? It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Jim can't really go mode DRC. He already did most of it. There's just the 2 checks that he hasn't gotten yet.
Yeah. One of which we know is a small key.
Yeah, so risking it by going to DRC or risking it by checking Thorn first, it's really... Either way, it's not going to be much different for him.
Yeah, kind of a pick your poison situation.
Yep. But Goma was one cycled by Jarhead there. He's going to get his last Triforce Shard.
Yeah, you don't really see that too often.
It's a lot easier to one cycle when you have the full Master Sword rather than just the little butter knife that we start with.
True. And we have the completed Triforce on Jarhead's side here. So we are going to be heading into Hyrule as Jim is smashing Helmrock's face with that big hammer. I kind of like that part, because that bird always freaked me out when I was a kid. So when you get to smash its face in with the hammer, it's kind of just, like a little bit of payback. You know what I mean? Just...
Yeah, I feel that.
Probably sounds a little weird, but... Oh, yes, good point, Artemis. Jim still has Western Fairy. His boomerang doesn't have that one yet.
That is true.
Interestingly enough, though, I suppose in a seed like this, the boomerang could end up being in Hyrule if you don't have Forbidden Woods. Because that's the only thing you need it for, logically speaking. And actually speaking. And you don't even need it for that, so...
Is it logically required to defeat Puppet Ganon?
I think the logic does do that.
The bird's not quite the right spot, but it flew to where he needed it.
Yeah, sometimes that bird can be a real bee if, he wants to. Just saying. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I mean, you can give it your best chance, give it your best shot, stand it in certain spots. It usually works, but it's still pretty, yeah. Yeah, I think it's phase 1 of Puppet Ganon is what it thinks you need the boomerang for.
Yep.
Well, you know what they say. I mean, it's an expression. So this is a best of 5 with Gymnast getting a 1-game advantage to start since he was not knocked out of the winner's bracket. Jarhead won game 1, or if you want to consider it game 2, however you want to count that, to even the score up 1-1. And Jarhead, of course, heading into Hyrule here, looking to finish first to win this game as well, and he will be up 2-1. Assuming that holds out, assuming he doesn't have some sort of horrendous nightmare in Ganon's Tower. But we're going to find out here, obviously, within a few minutes. Jim getting his purple rupee we were talking about just a little bit ago. I do really like the way the purple rupees look in this game. I know I said that, but... Yes, well, I think we all used to make the joke that Jim was just using the first couple races to observe his opponent and learn their techniques, so that way he could come back and snap. And Jim getting his grapple hook, so I'm sure he's very excited. Although now it's going to come down to, does he end up going to Cabana? Because he could believe that that's where his sword is. I always hate when you can go through that ladder there and it...
Yeah, so we're still on the hunt for that sword for Gymnast. He could go to Western Fairy, he could go to Cabana.
Hopefully he goes to Thorn Fairy.
Yeah. I think that's all he has left, is the 2 fairies in Cabana, is that correct?
Yep, other than the big key area in Dragon Roost and this one check here, because he's going to know he doesn't have the map or the compass. So it's Trevor again, guys.
Yay,
Hooray.
Trevor!
Yeah, the Skull Hammer was really late in this one. It was in the Moblin's Letter, which was on the stone tablet in Tower of the Gods, which the other pearls were locked behind the Picto box, which was in DRC. It was like a whole nightmare, really. For as fast of a seed as this is, the logic is a little bit crazy. So we're entering Puppet Ganon here for Jarhead. We're going to try and... He knows he has the boomerang, but doesn't really want to use it. And it looks like Jim...
Oh,
what?
He's not going to...
Ooh, paw print grapple check.
Paw print grapple check. Yep, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's paw print's always so early. You're never used to seeing it being done so late. This is crazy.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate for Jim here, even more. Jarhead is done with Phase 1 of Puppet Ganon.
Yep, and here comes Phase 2. Will we get to see... Oh, Jarhead has no magic. That's never good. Can't shoot light arrows without magic. But yes, you're right. He has soup.
Crisis of Birding.
Yeah. Anybody want to do the honors? There it is. There's a crit. Ooh, so close. Everyone loves to see that double crit. Oh, I hate that when it does that. The last phase spins so fast that...
He's still able to get it though, and Phase 2 is done.
Yes. Phase 2. Thank you for being our favorite auto-scroller in the game. Jarhead going for that calculated random shot. And down to one more shot left on Phase 3, of course. The Snake Ganon is being really dodgy there, but he ends up getting it anyway. Ooh, letter from Errol. I forgot about that one too. We're not doing a very good job of remembering.
This is why I need a tracker.
Yep. I should have had one up here the whole time. Two, really, I guess. Dang. And it looks like Jim's gonna go check that DRC basement. The spreadsheet. I'll have to take a look at it. And Jarhead doing the fabled rope climb. You know, the interesting thing, if Goma wasn't in Logic, I wonder if our runners would have just elected to do the grapple skip. I bet both of them would have.
I'm sure they would have, but Jar said earlier this past week that he wasn't going to attempt that anymore unless he had to, so.
Yeah.
Jim definitely would have, though.
Absolutely. I think Jim has said he's would consider doing the Morse hover too and runs to skip the hook shot, so. Or races, I should say. But yeah, so that would be something that would be really cool to see, one of these races maybe.
We are in the final boss fight for Jarhead. He's on Phase 2.
Thorned Fairy is the answer to your question, Lakar?
Yes.
Reproceed for Morse hover. And time.
There's time for Jarhead.
GG's to Jarhead.
Yes.
Taking game, quote-unquote, 2. To take a 2-1 lead. GG's. What a seed, Trez, by the way. That was impressive. GG's, guys.
Good transition. Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just say, as far as what's up, not Wind Temple, definitely.
Yeah.
So, do you know where your last item is now, Gymnast?
Yeah, I was told it was at Thorn Fairy.
So, tell us about that. What were you going to go to Thorn Fairy anytime soon, or would that have been your last check?
I'm not sure. I definitely would have gone to Western first because it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
And then might have just been a toss-up between Cabana and Thorn Fairy. After that, I was not going to gamble Hyrule because I don't gamble Hyrule because it's never in Hyrule.
Grapple, or no, you're talking about sword. Never mind.
Sword.
My head's getting mixed up.
Yeah, and probably hard for you to remember, Jarhead, because you had the full sword for like what, an hour and 15 minutes.
A while, yeah.
Yeah, you got that sword pretty early.
Yes, I did. It was kind of nice to have.
As a change from at least most of the beginning yesterday, you guys diverted pretty quickly on this seed, and it was really hard to keep track because you guys are all going so fast, and we're all trying to watch both of you at once, but you're just like everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But
I
made it
heard
fun.
that he did more overworld before going to DRC. Like, did you full clear overworld before going into DRC?
As full as I could, I believe, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Ice Ring, Fire Mountain, Bomb Isle, or that was in Logic, so, like, I didn't do Thorn or Western or Cabana or any of that.
Yeah.
Not that I could have done anything at Cabana.
Yeah,
I have
we were
made
all,
that mistake before where I enter Cabana and then realize I don't have grapple.
we were all kind of wondering if it was going to be the tale of how long is Jarhead going to wait to do Mila again today? Because when we saw the fire ice arrows, we were like, oh man, Mila's loaded again.
Yeah. Luckily, I got Pictobox pretty quick, and then I forgot to talk to Lenzo again.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. You stabbed the door a couple of times, I saw.
Yeah. Did you like my helm rock, by the way?
That was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah. So any other thoughts, you guys, about the seed in particular? Anything else that stood out to you as kind of weird? Or
Just how late grapple was.
Yeah, how late grapple was, and also the mail chain to bow was interesting.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
That was pretty funny. We're watching both of you guys check a letter and then get an item that gets you a letter and then play Song of Passing and then check a letter and then get another item that gets you a letter. It was pretty funny.
You know what's weirdest about this seed? It's now the third Trez seed that Jarhead finished in sub 150.
Hell yeah, dude.
In a row.
Keep throwing them at me, dude. Let's go.
Jarhead has mastered the Trez seed.
These aren't even, like, super bad. Like, these aren't anything super bad. He's just rolling good seeds for me now, apparently. I like it.
For as weird as the logic was, the seed was relatively fast. Because if you think about it, right, you needed to go to Tower of the Gods, right, to get the hammer, so that way you could be able to get in to get the quote-unquote get the grapple, logically, right?
Yeah.
Which that was locked behind the Picto, the entrance, the pearls to get into Taji, which was locked behind Picto, which was in DRC, and the other Picto was in Lenzo's, so...
Yeah, so you had to go to DRC. You had to double dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could have done chest storage into Forsaken Fortress to get the grapple hook, but no one's gonna gamble those few chests.
Yeah.
Right. That would be bold.
Yeah. Like
Clearly, that's what I need to do first thing next game is go gamble those Forsaken Fortress chests.
Yeah. Especially if FF is out of logic.
Especially, yes. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find Trevor there again if I go. So,
Dude, fucking great, Trevor. Trevor's great.
That was pretty awesome.
We were pretty excited when we saw Trevor.
Yeah. Good.
So, anybody have any questions in chat or anything?
Jim, will you fight back?
I'm trying, but Wind Temple was not it. So,
Dang.
Was not the play.
Yeah, we were all saying in chat that this was all part of your plan to just use these first couple of games to watch and learn all of Jarhead's tricks and then slap back.
I was saying earlier, he's still continuing the pattern. Just the first game was to make it a best of 3, and then this was just the first game win of that best of 3. So now it's going to be the 2-0.
you can feel free to break the streak if you want to.
I'm trying, man. I'm really trying. Oh, God.
It must. Maybe you need to now. Obviously, I'm not as high level, but maybe the strat is to go back to using file 2.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that did work out nicely for me last time.
Oh boy.
Good old file 2 strats.
Maybe file 2 has faster load times or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I paid off Lago to make load times artificially faster on file 2.
Oh, God.
And if you load up file 3, it just puts you right at Ganon with all the items. Nobody realized it yet because nobody uses file 3.
No, that's file 4. You guys don't know how to access that.
Dude, the secret file 4? Whoa. Is that the one that lets you Wind Waker dive to Hyrule?
Oh, I wish we could do that.
Somebody in chat's writing all this down, right?
Why don't we just sink down to Hyrule with the iron boots? No, that's too logical. We can't do that.
You know what the crazy thing is? I've actually never even thought about that, even as a joke.
It's not TP. We haven't had the thoughts about it. Jim's been playing TP. He knows the strats.
Wait a second. He's playing TPHD. That's like the less sophisticated version of TP.
Oh, really, Trez? I'll have you know that my Gorge Void consistency in TPHD is 100%.
Yeah, because of a trick that I found. Excuse me.
Yeah, but it's still in TPHD.
Note to everybody not knowledgeable about TPHD. You literally just have to hold 2 buttons, and that's Gorge Void for you in TPHD.
Fight!
No, actually, nowadays TPHD is hard mode. Now, new route is actually hard, so I can't say that anymore.
Well, it's just Bokoblins and early Snow Peak.
Yeah, but
anyway, when are we gonna have the TPHD randomizer tournament, Trez?
When there is a TPHD randomizer. We could do a beta quest tournament, which would be amazing.
Isn't there actually a TPHD randomizer?
Yeah, it's beta quest.
Loading zone randomizer.
Loading zone.
Oh.
I'd beat the
shit
shit
out
of everyone, but no.
I thought I heard. Alright. Like, the one that I heard of was like... It was like a file that you put on your Wii in it, like random.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I'm just
SD. That's SD though.
Oh, I thought it also worked for HD. Okay, my
No.
bad. Alright.
That is something that could be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's still pretty rough, but work started and work is continuing, and we might have something in summer that's somewhat stable. I guess, maybe. I hope.
We'll see.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, Jim, I expect you to give me a game 5. So
I will do my best.
Good.
For game 5, I'll whip out the TP randomizer.
Okay, I'll stand in for Jarhead then to make it even.
I was half thinking about like asking if like we could do a hundo race for random or for game 5, but like I know you'd absolutely wreck me. So
Yeah, out of logic doesn't really help you in that. So.
nah.
Okay then. All right, let's wrap this up. I want to give a big shout out to Melon, to Elijah, to Artemis, and to Prekipur for doing the volunteer work tonight. Tomorrow we'll actually have, as far as I heard, gonna have a fake gym on commentary, so maybe that's helping real gym. And yeah, tomorrow's game will be at the same time as today's at 6 p.m. UTC, that is. So tomorrow, Monday, at 6 p.m. UTC, so in 22 hours. And this might be the decider if Jarhead manages to take the clean sweep. But we'll see.
That would make me happy.
But yeah, we'll see about that. I'm sure you're all gonna be back for it. Shoutouts to all of you for 300, or to actually over 400 viewers at some point. That's a pretty decent and great number for a late European stream. And that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Shoutouts to everybody here. And let me see if any ZSR stream is on. Yeah, there is. So we can actually host over. Thank you all for watching. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.